Hello everyone, today we'll just go into JSON Web Token and use it with our Node.js application. To do that, we'll need JSON Web Token, Node.js, also MongoDB to store our users and also be able to authenticate a user. Also, to make it clear and secure, we'll need a bcrypt. And the last thing, we'll need Postman to check and change to check and how it's working our routes. Okay, going back to our Visual Studio Code, if you don't have Node installed, you should go to nodejs.org and download the long-term support version and install it on your machine. And when you just done it, you should go to the IDE. I'm using, as I said, Visual Studio Code and run the command npm init y. And with that, the package.json will appear over here. The next thing that we'll need to do, we need to install some library dependency frameworks. So we'll need to have Express. Also, we'll need JSON Web Token. The next thing that we will need to have installed is bcrypt and Mongoose to operate with our MongoDB database in very simple way. Okay, and with that will take us a second to install everything. When it's installing, we need to create index.js file inside our folder. As you can see, node modules are created over here and our dependencies been installed. As you can see, everything is installed as we have to have. So first of all, we need to import our modules. First of all, we'll import express, const express equals require express. The next thing that we'll need to const JWT or require JSON Web Token. The next thing that we'll need to have is mongoose and it's require mongoose. And the last thing that we just installed is bcrypt and we'll need to require bcrypt also. And with that, we can initialize our Express application by const app equals express. The next thing that we'll have to do is to parse the incoming JSON payloads. To do that, we'll need to use Express middleware. So app.use, express.json. And we are good to go to connect to MongoDB. And to connect to MongoDB, we need to, first of all, create the account if you don't have. It's free, don't worry. If you don't have it, just go to the video that I will just link in the description. Here I tell you how you can create the MongoDB account. Okay, when you just create your MongoDB account, you should see something like that. The name should be different. If you just create the same, it will be the same. But if you don't have it, you just create the new cluster and go to the free version tier that is only available once. Right now I don't have it available, but you will see that you can also create the free version. You should go to your region that is recommended for you, and with that in mind, you should go and create the free cluster with MongoDB. Okay, I will just cancel it because I've got created one. And once it's created, you should wait a few seconds. And after that, we'll just go to database access, create a new user with password. We should create the password that will be created for the application that we are creating. In my case, it will be very easy. I will just delete it after all. Remember to make it more sophisticated than I just do and make the password if you are building your application more secure. Also, we need to add the role, and in my case it's read and write to any database. Also, if you are creating the larger, you can create Atlas admin both of them will work properly as we would like to have. Okay, so at user, we need to wait seconds, go to database, right now connect, okay, Mongo for VS Code, and the last thing that we'll have to do is copy that link. Okay, we copied it, and right now we need to create mongoose.connect to connect to our database. And right there, we'll just copy our link. And where you have password, you should write down your password. My password is very simple. And the next thing, the next prop that we have to get there is the options. And as an options, we'll need to use new URL parser. And it's true. And the next thing, use unified topology, and it's also true to be able to and be sure that everything's work correctly as it should. Okay, if you created and we just connect to our database, we'll just later on check if everything worked correctly. We need to define the user schema, because when you are using Mongoose, we need to create the schema. So const user schema, const user schema, schema equals new mongoose.schema, and with that we'll need to use our schema. It will be very easy, so we'll need to have only username and also password, and it will be also the string that will pass. The last thing that we'll need to do is to change our schema to a model. So const user equals mongoose.model, and right there we call the name for that model, and the last thing we need to pass our schema, so it's user schema. Okay, when we created our model, when we create our schema, we connect it to our database. The next thing that we have to do is to create the JWT secret token, and to do that we'll use the constants JWT secret that will contain some string. Remember that string can be different from you. You can call it whatever you'd like to. It's up to you. You can just press the keyboard 3 times and that key will be yours. I will just create very easy secret key, and that will be all. Okay, when we just created our secret key, we'll just go back to our possibilities with creating account. So we will create the first route. It will be post, and inside our post route we'll need to create some kind of register. Okay, and register, because we are using Mongoose, we need to make it asynchronously. So async request response, and right there we'll just need to first of all hash our password, and to do that we'll need to use our bcrypt, as you can see over here. So okay, we'll just hash password, create the constants, and inside the await bcrypt that hash, and right there we'll just request that body, because we'll pass it inside the body, and password, and the next thing is salt of rounds. So the how many the encryption should be done. As you can see, there's then 10 rounds of salt, and I will use it as it's said in the example over here. When we just hashed our password, we need to create the user. So our new user will be username, and as a username we will pass body that username, and as a password we'll use hashed password to pass it to a new user. And the last thing, we need to save our user. So user.save, and to make it sure that everything's working, we'll need to check if there is an error. If error, then we'll return response only with status, for example, 500, it will be the internal server error. And if everything will work correctly, we'll need to go deeper. Sorry, we need to make, okay, it's over here. And if everything's work correctly, we'll send only status like 401. So it will be called like created. Everything's okay. And we created our register route. Okay, when we are registered, when we created our account, we should be able to log in. And with login, we'll just check if everything's work. Also, we need to make it asynchronously. So request response in that case is must have, what we have to do and have to create. And the, okay, I just make a dot instead of comma. And instead, inside that, we need to find the user and check if our password is correct. So const user equal await user dot find one, because we will be looking for that one user that we would like to have. And right there, we'll use username and request that body username that will pass via our post and our body. The next thing, we'll need to check if we found the user. So if there is user and the password is okay, so await that bcrypt that compare, we'll compare if our request that body that password is the same as user password. So we will just receive that password and check if everything's correct and nothing is wrong. And okay, when you just created, when you just got our user and our password is okay, we should be used to sign a JSON web token. So we'll just assign the JSON web token, and it will be user ID. And also we need to pass over here our JWT secret. As you can see, secret of private key over here. And the next thing, we can optionally make how long that JSON web token should last. So we can make expire in, for example, 1 hour, and check if everything's okay. So if there's an error, and if not, we'll just return the token, and right there we'll just if error, and right there we'll return that response that send status. Also will only stay send status and 403, so it will be forbidden action. If not, we'll just send back our token as a JSON. If the user is not found, we'll just also, when we are using our status, we'll just send the, for example, 401, which is unauthorized. So you are not able to log in inside our application. Okay, we can remember to save it. The next thing that we'll need to do, when we just register our account, we'll log in inside that account. We need to create and check if everything's correctly with our JSON web token. And to check if everything's correctly, we've got 2 steps. So first of all, we can create the whole code inside our route, or we can use middleware to do that. So we'll complicate a little and we'll create the middleware. If you are familiar with Node and middlewares, it will be the easy option. If not, I will just explain you how to create the middleware and how to use it later on. So to create a middleware, we'll create some function and it will be verify token. Here we will just pass request, also response, and next is the key that we need to create the middleware function. Okay, first of all, to get our token, we'll use the header to get the token from the user. So request that header and we will get authorization header. And there we'll pass our token. And right there, we have to check if there is some header. So if type of header is not equal the undefined, so if there is some header, we have to create the token. So we'll create var token, and we'll have the header, and that will be our token. The next thing, also when you are using, you can use the bearer function, that bearer, that split. So you can create the token in two ways, but we'll use authorization in very simple way without using the bearer before it. So request that token equals bearer token, and with that in mind, we'll need to verify if everything's okay. So JSON web token that verify, and we'll get request that token, and we'll pass our secret key, and of course we'll check if everything's okay, and we can use our auth data to the user that's trying to verify to connect to our application. So if there's error, also as before, we'll send the status 403. So we'll send status 403, and if everything's correct, we'll get user. So auth data that user, and we'll pass the next to it. And that next is very crucial for our application, because of that next, we'll be able to go further with our application. And okay, the last thing that if there is the token is empty, we need to create the residence status also 403. Okay, we created our middleware, we created our routes. So the last route that we need to get is get, and we'll just create it as protected. For example, you can call it whatever you'd like to, and we'll pass as a middleware verify token, and also request response as always we do. And okay, we need to change it over here, but also we need to send the JSON with our message that this is protected route. And okay, app.listen, and with that in mind, we'll just listen to the port 5000 and console.log server is running. Okay, and right now we need to node index.js. Remember that you have to be inside the folder that you just created your account. And we've got some error. Okay, we need to change the port because I'm using that already. So I just change it to 3000 and go to our Postman. And with our Postman, we create a new collection, and inside that collection, we'll create a new request, and that request will be host request, and we'll pass localhost, for example, register, but we need to remember to write down our port correctly. In my case, is 4000. And right there, we'll check if everything's correctly. So go to the body, row, change it to the text, and we'll pass the username, and our username will be just program it. And with our password, it will be, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we'll send it, and check whatever is wrong. We need to go to the errors. Okay, we are going there. We are going there. Okay, there is a case inside our register that we have to make happen. Okay, we cannot get over here. I just forgot. We have to create it as empty one. So right there, we'll just run again, register, send the request. Request is sending, and of course, I just don't send anything. So send status, and we can create like 200, like it's okay. We'll just stop it, but when you just go inside our database, we'll just go to browser collection. We wait a second and check if our user is created and our user is created, and to check if we can log in and get back our JSON Web Token. So I mean that function right here, we need to create and check the login. So login could not get a response. Also, I just make some mispo over here. Going back, rerun the application, login, and as you can see, we've got our JSON Web Token. And okay, the last thing that we have to do is to check our header. And inside our header, we need to create authorization, and with our value of the token. And we'll just pass protected. We'll just get over here, send, and it's like forbidden right now. If we just make some mispo, we'll just check if everything's correct. Okay, request that header, and we got an error, so we can console.log header, but I can see that is the error. We can rerun the code, check if our token is okay. Our header token is not okay, because right there it's not verified as it should. And why is it not working as it should? The answer for that problem is very simple, because I probably mess up something with the token. I guess I just forget one letter. I just find out, and when we just create the letter that we have to create, so E instead, we'll have the protected route over here. So remember to double check everything that you copy and paste. And the last thing, how we can check if everything's work correctly, you can go to JSON Web Token, JWT.io, and there you can verify your token. And as you can see, when you just go and paste the token over here, it will say if it's okay, it's valid, and also remember to pass there your secret key as we created it over here, so everything will work as it should. So okay, as you can see, we created the whole application. We go through some errors that will not be very important right now, but as you can see, everything and everyone makes some type of errors when you just write down and copy paste some kind of tokens. I hope you will have a good day, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And also, if you have any ideas for the next episode, you can also leave them in comments. If you like it, leave a like. If you like it very much, leave a subscribe. And see you in the next episode. Bye.